do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, share button, and turn on the notification. And welcome to the Really Toco podcast. So I'll be discussing a little bit more on politics because that is the flavor of the month, you know, and we're going to get into a lot of stuff with the Really Toco podcast. I'm going to bring on some of my bros, just a lot of different people. We'll talk about a lot of different things, but right now we're going to be talking about politics because um, where this is heading in the United States between uh, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is one way or another, whoever you vote for, it's going to determine what's going to happen for the next 4 years. It always happens. The cycle keeps going. So we'll see if Donald Trump can make a really good push and secure votes to make him the president again, or Kamala Harris will do her own push to see if she can get the votes that she needs to become the president. Now, remember, mind you, everybody was on Donald Trump and saying that he is going to destroy democracy. Now, remember, he got votes. Joe Biden got votes. Kamala Harris, she never got any votes. She never received any votes. And a lot of the people are in the comments and everything. They would say, "Well, she is the nominee, but she didn't get any votes." That's the problem that's happening right now, is that we have somebody that's running for the presidency that never got any votes in the primary or anything. Just back in June, she was the worst vice president there was. The media was calling for Joe Biden um, before the first debate, to get rid of her. It's time to get somebody else. Everybody, it's time to get somebody else. But anyways, it's the pollsters are saying it's neck and neck. Some polls have Trump up, some polls have Kamala up. And uh, Megyn and Vivek are gonna talk about polls right now. So let's look at some of these polls and see what happens, um, and then I'll continue to progress in the way that I do my podcast, because I'll be talking about a lot of different things that's interesting to me. But right now, politics is what's interesting. I mean, we also have another one. That's another segment I'm going to do with John Combs, P. Diddy, Buck Daddy, and whole culture of Hollywood, that from the music industry, even into sports, with LeBron James now allegedly involved in some things, allegedly Justin Bieber, uh, different things like that. But anyways, let's get back to this. Tell me in the comments if you think democracy is headed towards, if it's going to go away, if Donald Trump is voted into office, or is it going to be saved? I think if he's voted in, we will be saved. Democracy right now is fractured. With we have somebody that may win the presidency that didn't have any votes to get primary. None of that. Okay, let's get back into this.
Trump's up 5 in Arizona. He's up 4 in Georgia. And North Carolina is still tight. He's up 2. It's a state he won by under 75,000 votes in 2020. Harris was up 2 in August there. So it's a 4-point swing in Trump's favor. But this poll was conducted largely before these reports about Mark Robinson, who's the GOP candidate for governor. He's the current lieutenant governor, who is a black man saying he wants to bring back slavery, allegedly in these sex talk rooms. He denies it's him. The evidence that it is him seems pretty good. and saying he likes to watch transgender men. I don't know. Trannies have sex with whatever. It's dark. So there's a question about whether that's going to drag Trump's numbers down in North Carolina because people are going to be kind of grossed out by the GOP candidate for governor. But zoom out from that particular controversy and tell me what you make of these latest battleground polls, Vivek.
Yeah, so I'm seeing a pattern here, Megan. This is wearing maybe an older hat of looking at noisy data in other contexts. I think a lot of what happens in the political media in a close race like this is you're going to see a random distribution on any given poll taken over different periods of time. And what you're just seeing is that type of noise, people trying to extrapolate a lot from it. So you're seeing conflicts between NBC's polling and New York Times, Siena polling. You're seeing even what you would look at evolved slight shifts in New York Times zone polling over time, when in fact, that's exactly if you were just doing a random distribution of polling around the noise around an actual mean, the variation you'd see anyway. So that's all a long way of saying that I don't think this polling or the shifts here matter in one direction or another, especially because pollsters have been particularly bad at predicting what Donald Trump's actual supporters are.
So, in context of this, polls have been very wrong. And because they poll a lot of more Democrats, and then they make it look like more people are, as they poll, that they're favored for the Democrats. Now, one thing that I can say is that if everybody goes to the polls, like back when I was younger, everybody went to the polls, everything, all the votes were counted in one day. And they were paper ballots back then. But now we have like a whole range of things that can happen that if everybody just get up and go and vote on November 5th, that's all they need to do. That's the key ingredient to having they say democracy. I mean, we're in a republic, but democracy, they're saying, hey, we got to be able to save democracy. We got to vote this person in because she's for democracy, or we got to vote this person in because he's for democracy. Now, I like Trump. I like everything that because he does everything better than in the 4 years that he was in office. Really, he was better than what we see from the Biden administration, Harris administration now, in the later part of the year in a presidential race, which is so crazy and so odd. But anyways, let's get back into this.
Are going to do. And so the reality is, I think I almost trust on the ground instincts combined with polling at least as much. And my sense is it's going to be a close race to the finish, but I think that, in the current trajectory, I actually feel very good about Donald Trump. I'm less optimistic about the Republican Senate candidates. And that's kind of my pulse on where things stand in the race right now.
Just to give you an example, Real Clear Politics the other day put out this little chart. This is Pennsylvania. And it was very interesting, Vivek. It was an attempt to look at how the pollsters did when it came to predicting Trump's vote in 16 and 20. And this one just looks at Pennsylvania. So it's just a little snapshot. But Here it is. Two pollsters overestimated the Trump vote in 2020. Trafalgar by 3.2 and Insider Advantage by 3.2. Every other pollster, Emerson, New York Times, Siena, Quinnipiac, CNN, CBS, F&M, Marist, and Washington Post all overestimated the other way, and by a lot in some cases. Listen to how it went. These are all Democrat overestimations, like that Joe Biden was going to do better than he did. Emerson 2.8, New York Times, Siena 4.8, overstating what he actually got or predicting in the last polls. Quinnipiac plus 5.8 for the Dems. CNN 8.8, CBS 5.8, F&M 4.8, Marist 3.8, Washington Post 5.8. So the overwhelming number of polls greatly overestimated how the Democrat would do. I could give you the Dem list in 2016, which was even worse, overestimating Hillary Clinton's performance.
All right. So just right there. Like I said, the Democrats, they overestimated everything, and it skewed towards the Democrats. And 2016, it was worse. 2020, it favored Joe Biden. We all know that some mysterious things happened. Magically, Joe Biden won that election. Um, hey, I'm just going to say it like it is. Okay. I cannot see that there was um, somebody that just came in, Joe Biden, having more than 81 million votes. Barack Obama didn't even get that, and he's regarded as one of the most popular presidents ever. Okay, Bill Clinton didn't get that. Let's just think about that. All right. So if everything goes in true order, and you're honest about, and everybody's honest about everything in every state, in every jurisdiction, and all the voting polls and everything, then you will have what I call a fair election, and that's up to you, the American people, to go and vote and do that. So let's continue.
I think the big question in this race right now is whether any of these pollsters has corrected or figured out how to correct their terrible polling. Because if they haven't, you're right, Donald Trump should be feeling pretty good.
Yeah, I don't think they have, Megyn. And the reality is, it reminds me of, there's an old book called A Random Walk Down Wall Street, something to that effect, which basically concludes that a monkey throwing darts at a dartboard, picking stocks that way, would either equally perform or outperform on a post fee basis most professional Wall Street analysts or portfolio managers. You see the same thing with respect to the polling. I think a monkey throwing darts on a dartboard might do better than the average pollster here, because the equivalent of the fees in the investment industry are like the biases baked into these mainstream media institutions that inadvertently, even in ways that they don't realize in their sampling, or the kinds of audiences that skew even 1% over from what the general population is, amplify their own internal biases that you see show up in their own publications or their own news stories. So that's, I think, the reality is that these polls aren't worth much. I'm not telling you anything you don't know or your audience doesn't know, but there has historically been a bias, we know, of Trump supporters who are really either pissed off when they get called by pollsters asking what your vote preference is going to be, or certain people who have been afraid to be able to tell another human being they're going to vote for Donald Trump, when in fact that's exactly what they're going to do. Now, the counter argument for the other side in this election, just to sort of, if you're playing the horse race analysis game here, the counter argument is, I think that culture of fear around saying that.
Okay, so we are going to. All right, so you see it there. I mean, there's a lot of bias that happens, and they are skewed towards the Democrats because that's how they play the game. So polling will not show that how well the Republicans are doing, but it shows how well the Democrats are doing. So that's pretty much how it is skewed towards the Democrats, because they want the media, they want the Democrats to win. I mean, you can just see it. It's just, there's no, literally, they are biased towards having Kamala win the presidency. But it's just so, what was so odd is that people cannot see that, hey, things were better under Donald Trump. They really were. They were just better under Donald Trump. So if you look at Kamala's track record, now I'm from California, okay? So I see how everything played out there. Things weren't good under Democrats. Things are not good. They're not good. The gas prices are so high out there. They're very high. Everything, cost of living is high. But the jobs are not there that's equal to, that pays you what you need to be able to raise your family, to pay for your grocery bills, your house bills. I mean, California has so many things that are so high price, in the cost of living alone. Besides that, so uh, everything, no matter how you look at it, the last 4 years has been troublesome for a lot of families that are out there trying to make it, but they can't really make it because they, with the inflation and the cost of everything that has gone up, but the wages and the jobs are not there to accommodate for the cost of living. So anyway, so I'm just saying the polls are wrong in most cases. Some, I heard that they are allegedly suppressing some of the polls. They're not letting them out. They're just waiting until something better happens for one side. And the only thing that I can say is we have one candidate that will not go on um, a conservative platform to do a debate. Yet she wants another debate, but she wants it done on CNN. Go to Fox if you want another debate, and it will happen. Or go to, do it on Tucker, do it on X. Have Tucker be the one to do it on there. I mean, if everybody that sees this or watching this, and they can see that, and they think that Kamala's winning, and she wants another debate, well, urge her to go do a debate on an unfriendly territory. Donald Trump does it all the time. He goes and he talks to everybody, interviews with all of them. He's not scared. So if you're scared, then you won't do anything. But I do remember that one of the things that Kamala said in one of her rallies was, if you have something to say, say it in my face. As she was calling out Donald Trump. Donald Trump was not scared. She was scared. She didn't take that Fox debate. She could have done that Fox debate and do the ABC debate, and then maybe he'll do another debate. But I mean, the votes are being cast right now. Everything is happening. It's moving towards. It's moving towards November 5th, and Donald Trump is doing what he's doing. He's stomping the grounds and going across the U.S. And Kamala is slightly doing the same. I mean, she cannot really do an interview. Like, it's crazy that she can be one of the candidates and cannot really do an interview. It's just crazy that she is the nominee, but she didn't receive any votes. But hey, we're here. This is where we're at. And it's up to the American people to go and vote according to what they think is right. And some people will vote Kamala, some will vote Trump. I just say, go out there, see what's best for your family, and vote that way. Anyways, I'll catch you guys on the next one. And hit that like and subscribe button and turn on the notification. And I do read the comments. So if you make comments, be sure to give some good ones. I mean, some of the comments that are rude and just obnoxious, I'm not going to pay attention to, but I'll still read through them. I think some of them so funny, but you might get a really thoughtful response if that's the case. All right. So, okay, we are out.